Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's an overcast Thursday evening, but we're at Citi Field where the Yankees and the Mets will play the final game of this Subway Series. They're filing into the ballpark, ready for some action, and we are as well. It's time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the New York Mets in the final game of 4 between these two teams at Citi Field in Flushing, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball along with David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees really got what they needed yesterday. They needed to stop the losing, and the losing against the Mets. They had lost 6 straight against the Mets, dating back to last year. A 4-0 victory snapped that completely. A good feeling comes over the Yankees now, and they combine power and pitching. That's a pretty good combo.
It is a good combo, and get it early. When you got a stopper on the mound like Tanaka, get some runs early, and Solarte got him going with a vicious line drive, along with that vicious swing, and then Teixeira with a moonshot gave Tanaka all he would need on the night, and he really could have just had one run and made it work last night in his first career shutout, but just toying with the Mets hitters. He had all his pitches working, kind of saved some in reserve when he needed it, can throw a fastball by you as well. Tanaka, the definition of a stopper. The Yankees feeling really good about it.
All right, so what's next pitching-wise? We'll give you today's pitching matchup brought to you by Disney's $1 Million Arm in theaters tomorrow. Major League debuts for both of these guys. Jacob deGrom for the Mets, 4-0, 2.58 in Las Vegas. Chase Whitley, 3-2, 2.39 in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Okay, those are numbers, David. What do we know about Chase Whitley?
Well, what we know is that he wasn't even on the radar in spring training as far as a rotation candidate, but he got there in a hurry with 6 really good starts in AAA. He was a converted reliever. He's only got 15 professional starts to his name, so you talk about roll him out there and see what you got. Well, he's earned it, but the Yankees are desperate and they need him to come through.
Well, they hope this rookie plays as well as that rookie. He's been unbelievable. Yangervis Solarte. When we get back, Meredith Maragovitz will delve deeper into this story on Yes.
Yankees and the Mets coming your way in just a little bit. Mets currently lead the season series 2-1. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Morakovitz. Yangervis Solarte has been opening up eyes all season long, and it's a pretty amazing story considering the fact that he was one of the last people to make the team and a guy that the Yankees weren't necessarily counting on coming into this season. But Joe Girardi sure is happy the production he has been able to provide.
He's just done an incredible job, and his bats continue to be consistent. In the beginning, he was swinging the bat really good left-handed. Was struggling a little right-handed, but he got his right-handed stroke going as well. So he's been really good from both sides. Coming into tonight's game, not only does Solarte lead the American League in batting average, but he also leads the Yankees with 23 runs batted in. We'll have more on Solarte as well as the rest of the Yankees lineups. First pitch baseball coming your way next, right here on Yes.
Tri-State BMW Centers by La Quinta Inns and Suites. Wake up on the bright side at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Book now at lq.com. And by the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Well, we're told that the rain will hold up. We'll be able to get this game in here at Citi Field. Final game of the 4 games between these two teams. Mets won the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium. Yankees won last night 4-0 here at Citi Field. They're exchanging the lineups at home plate, and this is a matchup of 2 rookie pitchers making their major league debut. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 65 degrees, high humidity, 14 miles per hour is the wind, and the forecast is for showers late and cloudy for most of the night. So, David, you've been there, done that. You didn't make your first big league appearance as a starter. I believe you came in as a reliever. What's the feeling like? What are these guys going through right now?
Well, in some ways, the less that you know, the better off you are. So this has come kind of at the last minute for both of these guys. And the more time you have to think about it, the more nervous you can get. So both these guys are just get the ball and go, and not enough time to really think too many thoughts and get too nervous.
Now, the Yankees roster move to get Chase Whitley on the 25-man. They put Beltran on the 15-day DL. Whitley was not on the 40-man roster, so in order to get him, they had to designate somebody, and that was Bruce Billings, who also has been up here earlier this year. So that's the clerical situation. Let's see how both of these young men do today. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented by our good friends at Lexus. Brett Gardner in left field is doing leadoff, batting second and playing shortstop, the captain, Derek Jeter. Jacoby Ellsbury in center field will hit third. Cleaning up first baseman Mark Teixeira. Brian McCann will catch. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Alfonso Soriano. Yangervis Solarte still leading the American League in hitting. He's at third base, batting seventh. Batting eighth and playing second base, Brian Roberts. And pitching for the Yankees and hitting nice, Chase Whitley.
Well, here he is. And as you said, Michael, you know the nerves are flying, but those are his numbers in AAA, and they're good. And that's in the Pacific Coast League, and that's not an easy place to pitch. So that's why he's getting the ball here tonight. Pitch against the Yankees. Go ahead and give you your pitcher scouting report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And leaving Las Vegas, as we just mentioned, those numbers, very hitter-friendly Pacific Coast League. Teams average about 5 runs per game out there, so it's hard to gauge pitching, but when his numbers are that good, you're going to get a shot. And number 2, Mad Hatter. He was a 9th round 2010 draft choice out of Stetson University in Florida. The school's named for hat maker John Stetson, who saved the school from financial straits in the 1880s. And messed with the bull, Michael. Right before 2013 spring training, he broke his left ring finger on his glove hand, helping a neighbor castrate a calf. He pitched through it, got along okay, but yeah, what a way to get an injury. There's some weird injuries out there, but that one's right at the top of the list.
That is one of the most complete scouting reports ever. How did the Stetson Hatters get their name and getting injured castrating a bull? I don't think that's ever been done. Let's take a look at the Mets defense behind the young man. Eric Young Jr. is in left field, Chris Young in center, and Granderson over right. The defense presented by Geico. Infield, Wright, Tejada, Murphy, and Duda, third to first. And Centeno is behind the plate with DeGrom on the mound. All right, so the Yankees looking for a split of this 4-game set. The Mets would like to take 3 out of 4. Brett Gardner is going to start it off, getting comfortable in the left-handed batter's box. And DeGrom patiently waiting atop the mound. Gardner's ready. DeGrom is ready. And let's do it here at Citi Field. The first pitch is a strike, and we are underway. Hunter Wengelstedt, home plate umpire. Mike Estabrook at first, Jerry Lane at second, and Mike DeMuro is over at third. One and one. Yankees come in at 20-19 on the season. The Mets are 19-20. Now with DeGrom on the mound tonight and Montero on the mound last night, Yankees facing rookie starters making their major league debut in consecutive games. The last time and only time that happened for the Yankees, you have to go back to June 23rd, 1915, a doubleheader at Shibe Park versus the A's. And those pitchers were Cap Crowell. Yankees beat him 3-2 in 10 innings, and Bruno Haas in game 2, and they beat Bruno 15-7.
Now that's some deep info right there. Just shows you how rare it is, though, back-to-back major league debuts. And also the Mets definitely on the upswing with their young pitching prospects. Got a little Jared Weaver look to him. Excuse me, Michael.
Absolutely.
Not only the hair, but the body type and even the motion a little bit.
All arms and legs and a lot of hair. The 2-2. 3-2. Well, if this young man wants to make things difficult, he'll let Brett Gardner get on base. 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. Dating back to 2011, the last 6 times the Yankees faced a pitcher making his major league debut, the pitcher ends up being 0-5 with a 7.67 ERA. And the 3-2 to Gardner. Yankees baseball is available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Infinity.
It's kind of the formula the Yankees used against Montero, the other rookie, last night, and fouling off a lot of two-strike pitches.
That one is scooped into right field. Going back, Granderson, and he'll make the play on the run on the warning track for the first out of the game. Mets had a nice presentation for Derek Jeter before the game. Fans didn't see it, but it was underneath the stands in the media room. They gave Derek a beautifully tiled subway tile of number 2 with the Met colors and the Yankee colors as well. And they were very generous on a donation to his foundation as Jeter grounds one to short. Tejada. 2 outs. Owner of the Mets, Jeff Wilpon, unveils the subway tiles of number 2. And then a check for $22,222.22. And a Cake Boss cake. Nice gesture by the Mets.
Nice cake.
And up here in the media press room, they've given out cupcakes with number 2 on it. Also made by the Cake Boss. From Carla's Bakery in Hoboken.
Yeah, I've been there. I actually did a show for the Yes Network over there in Hoboken. Great spot, great people.
Ellsbury takes a strike from DeGrom. Well, there's a tale of 2 fans. The Yankee fan disappointed, Met fan digs it. Ellsbury grounds one foul.
You know, I talked to Derek Jeter before the game a little bit about it. You know, how you handling all this, you know, the last ceremonies, people giving you gifts. And he said, no, it's okay. You know, it's short and sweet. He said, getting used to opposing teams' fans cheering for him caught him off guard out in L.A. and in Milwaukee, and he was really surprised. But he does seem to, you know, Michael, we've talked about Derek, he does seem to be enjoying this a little more. And even though Derek's always team first guy, performance first, but he's taking a step back and he really is soaking this in.
DeGrom gets it up to 95 miles an hour there, and the count 2-2. Three and 2. And the payoff. Lined into right center, giving chase is Granderson. He can't get there, and it bounces up against the wall. Ellsbury with a 2-out double.
Well, we've seen 2 well-struck balls from left-handed batters, and for a minute I thought this might have a chance, but then I remembered where we are, and that's right towards the 390 sign in deep right center, and it's going to short hop right over that sign for a stand-up double.
Ellsbury with that double snaps an 0 for 11. Here's Mark Teixeira. Mark hit a home run yesterday. He's been swinging the bat very, very well. Overall 270, 8 homers, and 18 runs batted in. Count 1-1. Last 15 games, 7 homers, 14 ribbies, and an average over 300.
Teixeira's recent stretch kind of, you know, a little blast from the past, a little reminder of why he got that big free agent contract in the first place, because he is that kind of a game changer when he's right.
"20 pitches, 12 strikes for DeGrom. Ellsbury leads off second. And Teixeira chases a high fastball and goes down swinging. No runs a hit. One man left. Yankees nothing. Mets coming back. That man, Chase Whitley. So let's take a look at their starting lineup. Eric Young Jr. is at left field. He's going to lead off. Batting second and playing second, Daniel Murphy. The number 3 hitter is third baseman David Wright. Curtis Granderson's in right field cleaning up. Batting fifth and playing center field, Chris Young. Lucas Duda at first base will bat sixth. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, Ruben Tejada. Juan Centeno is the catcher. He's going to bat eighth, and batting ninth and pitching, Jacob DeGrom.
And here you go, Yankee fans. Your next Yankee starter on the year, and you could see pretty good numbers, and that's why he's here. Only 7 walks and 32 strikeouts in 26 and a third innings. Let's go ahead and give you the pitcher scout report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And small town, big city, he's from Ranburne, Alabama. Population 406. Wonder if they got a satellite dish in that town trying to get this game tonight. And converted reliever, he was a 15th round pick in 2010, and he was the all-star closer for the Staten Island Yankees. So didn't think he was going to make it to the big leagues as a starter. Thought he'd be a closer. He's a starter now and in control in 6 AAA starts this year. We saw the numbers, 3-1, 28 Ks and only 6 walks. And I think that number kind of jumps out at me.
And he's made 13 starts over a couple of years at AAA and 4-1, 1.38. So we will see what he has tonight, and it's an opportunity for any young pitcher now. You do well, you're staying up here. This is not a one and done. They have 3 pitchers from their original starting rotation hurt. And the first pitch to Eric Young Jr. is a strike. In his last 4 starts at AAA, starting April 17th, 3-0, no ERA. Grounded to first. Teixeira beats Young to the bag. And there's one away. Let's check out the Yankee defense presented by Geico. We'll start in the outfield. In left, Gardner. Ellsbury in center. Soriano over in right. Infield, Solarte, Jeter, Robertson, Teixeira. That's third to first. Brian McCann's behind the plate. And Chase Whitley is on the mound. Well, it's a rare occurrence when you have a game where both starting pitchers are making their major league debut. It's only the second game in Yankee history in which that has happened. And the other time you have to go back to October 6th of 1908 in Boston. Pitches inside. Doc McMahon and the Red Sox beat Andy O'Connor and the Highlanders 11-3. And the side note is, neither one of those pitchers ever played again in the major leagues.
Well, that's something right there.
And that's thanks to our good buddies at Elias came up with that.
The two Utes up here starting in the show. You know, Michael, one of the reasons for this is just the nature of the game, all the injuries that are going down. I remember Joe Girardi in spring training said, you know, we might not need a sixth starter till June. Well,
Murphy grounds one to Teixeira. Second out.
It's not only the Yankees or the Mets that are looking for starters. The whole league is, really. There is only 3 major league teams that have used just 5 starters so far in 40 games. The Red Sox, Brewers, and Padres. Texas has already used 9 starters. The White Sox have already used 9 starters, and this is in 40 games. This is the 8th starter the Yankees have used this year. So your second rotation, your second line, the next 5 starters in line in AAA or AA are almost as important nowadays as your front line.
And those 2 guys that you saw on the bench sitting next to each other, those are the only 2 starters that the Yankees have left from the 5 that started the season with them. Now, Ivan Nova's not coming back. The Yankees certainly hope that CeCe gets back shortly, and they are hoping that Pineda will get back sometime in June. But that's a lot of firepower to lose. That's 60% of your rotation. David Wright had his 11-game hitting streak snapped last night with an 0-for against Tanaka. And actually ended the game with a line drive to Jeter. You know, Chase Whitley is a converted reliever, so that's why he pitches exclusively from the stretch. No windup for him.
Now, we've seen Yu Darvish do that in Texas as well when he first came over from Japan. Did have a full windup, but whenever he got in trouble, he'd go to the stretch because mechanically it's more simple. Less moving parts, a little easier to control yourself. For most starting pitchers, or pitchers in general, the windup is more of a rhythm and a deception sort of a element to your delivery. Nowadays, everything's so compact, you know, there's not much difference between a lot of windups and a lot of stretch positions. Very few old school windmill windups.
Grounded softly to third, but a foul ball.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Jeep Hitters scouting report. Had his hit streak snapped last night, 0-for-4, ending the 11-game stretch in which he had knocked 20 hits, including 7 doubles, a homer, and he hit .392 during that stretch, and he is Mr. Met. All-time franchise leader in hits, runs across the board. Total bases, he's second to Darryl Strawberry in homers with 224. Straw's got 252. And Cooperstown, I don't know. He keeps going.
And he goes down on strikes. An impressive first inning for the youngster Chase Whitley. Mets go down in order, and we go to the second inning. 0-0. Prius is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. We started the conversation with this. Who have been some of your favorite unlikely standouts from past Subway Series and why? Gorgas Stevens says Jose Vizcaino. He only played 73 games for the Yankees in 2000, got the walk-off hit in Game 1 of the World Series. Yes, he did. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag #YankeesPrius to keep the conversation going. Here's Brian McCann to start off the second. Pitch outside, net shift, 3 infielders on the right side. Both pitchers working quickly, seemingly dealing with confidence.
Yeah, the early jitters should be out. Got through the first inning, both of them unscathed. DeGrom's got a nice arm.
That one is looped into left field. It's a base hit over the head of right.
Well, the old school saying is hit it like you threw it. Change up down and away. McCann hits a changeup off the end of the bat, just over the shortstop's head.
That'll bring up Alfonso Soriano. Soriano on a backswing hit the side of the helmet of Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets catcher. Stayed in the game. He was a little groggy after the game. Then didn't have any symptoms at all, but then he started to work out yesterday and started to feel some symptoms, and they waited, so they did put him on the 7-day concussion DL, and that's why they brought up Juan Centeno to catch. And this is Tuesday night at the stadium.
And that is an Alfonso Soriano bat, which is a very heavy bat. 30, maybe 34, 35 ounce bat. So the barrel of that bat's got some hemp behind it. Joe Girardi's talked about seeing good signs from Soriano in batting practice and a lot of his at-bats, looking for him to go on one of those hot streaks. Always been really streaky hitter. Home runs come in bunches. Yankee fans saw that last year. The best player in the league, or right at the top, post-trade from the Cubs. Hasn't really got it going this year as of yet.
Swing and a miss. Tailing fastball.
Well, this works on any level. 95 miles an hour at the knees on the black. That'll get a lot of guys out.
Here is Yangervis Solarte at .336. He leads the American League in hitting. Now, how rare is that for the Yankees? He's the first Yankee rookie qualifier to lead the American League in batting average this late in the season since Joe DiMaggio in 1936. Joe led it as late as June 6 with a .372 batting average. He ended the season at .323 for 14th place. And Luke Appling won the batting title that year at .388. And speaking of Joe D, David, on this date, 1941 at Yankee Stadium, he had a first-inning RBI single off Eddie Smith, and that started his 56-game hitting streak,
which most people think will never be approached.
Grounded back to DeGrom. Goes the second one. On the first, it's a double play. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left on base. Let's go to the bottom of the second. Facts, they are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The difference on the Mets, batting average away and here at Citi Field. You can see him, Granderson over 100 points, Duda over 100 points, Chris Young 102 points, and Eric Young well over 100 points. And it's weird, though, because other teams come in there and hit. And I asked Ron Darling, former Met and now one of their broadcasters, why that's so. He said because these guys get it into their head. They have to play 81 games here. The Yankees come in for 2. The Phillies are going to come in for 3. They'll hit their home runs, and they don't change their swing. He said this place is in the Mets' head. It changes the way they hit, changes the way they swing, and that's why it affects batting average.
Especially early in the season when you have cooler weather, actually cold weather this year. Ball just does not travel. And that starts in batting practice. Ronnie's exactly right. I mean, you could see in batting practice where guys are hitting balls good and they're not getting out of here. And that sets the tone for the entire night.
Here's Curtis Granderson. Now, this is a guy that they signed to hit a lot of home runs, hopefully 30, 35, maybe 40 home runs. But in this place, he might not be able to do that. And then you've got a guy who strikes out 200 times. You might have just 20 home runs. He has 5 right now. And he certainly had a couple at Yankee Stadium. He's very comfortable there. And also, David, I don't know if you agree, but if you look at the dimensions, it's not cavernous. Now, 390 to right center is big, but it's not cavernous. I think it plays even bigger than the numbers for some reason.
Well, it does, but there is a little gap over here in right field in this part there that is exceptionally deep compared to other ballparks. It's a little cranny here. Here's the line, and it comes out and it really goes back this way. And that is the power alley. Back at Shea, that was about 350, 353, and that is a long poke where the 375 sign is. The 375 sign should be where the 390 sign is.
There's a ground ball to Solarte. They had the shift on, and Granderson is out.
You know, Brett Gardner's fly ball in the first inning would have been way back at Yankee Stadium. It would have been a home run at Shea.
Well, Terry Collins, after the game yesterday, David, said, well, we hit a couple of home runs if we were on the other side of the city, because they did hit a couple of long fly balls off of Tanaka, but here they're swallowed up by the real estate.
This part right here is really quirky. I don't know of any other ballpark quite like that, and that's just so close to the foul line to jut out that deep. So that right there is robbing a lot of left-handed home runs. Really kind of a quirky configuration on the outfield wall.
And what you just showed, David, it's an easy fix. That is, I mean, they brought that in a great deal anyway, but it's still too deep. They could just move it straight across, and then you've got a really fair power alley.
I think, you know, they got the inspiration for Old Tiger Stadium with this upper deck that overhangs on the field. If you remember, at the Old Tiger Stadium, actually balls could tip the overhang on the second deck and still almost come down into fair territory. So a lot of inspirations for the design of this ballpark. That particular nook and cranny was taken from Tiger Stadium. Probably should have been left at Tiger Stadium. Just my opinion.
And you're a pitcher, too. Rounded up the middle. Grabbed there by Roberts. Makes the play on Chris Young. Roberts showing the range of a shortstop.
Right back up the middle. Normally a base hit. Not in today's game. See more balls up the middle get turned into outs than ever before because of these shifts. And, you know, a lot of guys are trained to hit the ball back up the middle. You see batters working on their stroke right back up the middle in batting practice, and nowadays that's not working.
Here's Lucas Duda. High fly ball, left center. Gardner and Ellsbury. Gardner on the track makes the play for the final out of the second. DeGrom has pitched well. Whitley's pitched well, using up a lot of real estate as Gardner. Schedule brought to you by your local Acura dealer. The Pirates come into town for 3 games this weekend at the stadium. All 3 are on yes. Then the Yankees travel to Chicago. How about that? A week in Chicago. 2 against the Cubs and 4 against the White Sox.
Unpack your bags and stay in Chi-Town for a week. Get a little shopping done. 3 day games in there, as you said, Michael. That's the difference. Nothing like a day game at Wrigley.
Here's Brian Roberts. And there's a strike. And Roberts hits a high fly ball to left center. Young will make the play for the first time. Now that's going to bring up Chase Whitley. And Chase Whitley is a hitter. In college, as a freshman at Southern Union State, he hit .427 with 64 ribbies. As a sophomore, .412 with 59 ribbies. And then he transferred to Troy, and he hit .364 as a junior, and then was picked in the 15th round by the Yankees in 2010. So let's see if he can hack up here in the big leagues.
I bet he wishes he had an aluminum bat again in his hands.
And he's got a base hit here in the major leagues. How about that? Chase Whitley with a single. They are pumped. John Ryan Murphy and David Phelps. Yesterday, Tanaka, his first big league hit, and they get the ball.
That's it. Collectively, the Mets pitchers still looking for their first hit. So right in your grill. Yankees pitchers taking the lead on the hit front.
Phelps can't believe it. And a big smile from Jeter. There's Gardner. They are not holding Whitley on base, and he has also turned away the offer of a jacket.
I like that. Got to be a base runner right now.
Audi A3 scoreboard, 0-0 here in the third.
We've talked about the Subway Series, a little different format, 2-2 back-to-back series, as opposed to the 6 games that were previously done. But the fans are still into it. You know, kind of a late arriving crowd, but it's filling up. It's a big crowd here at Citi Field. Of course, Derek Jeter's last game against the Mets.
Count 3-1 on Gardner. Yesterday, a crowd of 35,577. This one looks a little bigger. And Gardner works a walk. So first and second with one out as Whitley moves to second, and Derek Jeter comes to the plate. Coming into this game, Jeter's played 87 regular season games against the Mets, 5 in the World Series. His numbers, 368, 13 homers, and 44 runs batted in. Fouls that one away.
Seems like opposing pitchers are really throwing Jeter a lot more fastballs. You know, Jeter's always been a great first pitch fastball hitter and that inside out swing. Two straight fastballs here. That's kind of been the book on Jeter. You know, he's been tested early in this year. And he's still inside out those hard fastballs. And DeGrom's got a good one, 94 there. He's topped out at 95 so far.
Right back to DeGrom. He's going to double up Gardner. Might have taken a base hit away from Jeter, turned it into a 1-3 double play. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. Good reaction by the Mets rookie. We go to the bottom of the third. Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. Carlos Beltran goes on the DL. This is what he's done so far this year. 234, 5 home runs, 15 ribbies. He's placed on the 15-day DL with right elbow inflammation, which is caused by a bone spur. They gave him a cortisone shot, didn't react to it quickly enough, and the Yankees said, okay, let's just get this right. There's also the possibility, and Carlos brought it up yesterday, as did Brian Cashman, the Yankee GM, that they might have to go in and take care of it, and if they do, then that's 4 to 6 weeks without Beltran. Meredith just now tells me it's been up to 6 to 12 if they have surgery. Whitley had kind of a sheepish grin when he got back to the dugout about a hit in his first big league at bat.
It's not that easy.
He'll face the bottom of the order for the Mets here in the third inning. Tejada, Centeno, and DeGrom. The Audi A3 scoreboard, 0-0. That is going to hook foul. I think it also broke Tejada's bat.
You know, Michael, it seems like, Meredith's got to have a degree in medical technician. You know, she has to be a medical technician nowadays to come up with all the terminology to describe some of these injuries nowadays.
Cashman said because it's his throwing arm, to be fully functional offensively and defensively is more towards 12 weeks, just to DH more towards 6. You got more, Meredith?
And Michael, this has to be particularly concerning because in speaking with Carlos Beltran in the clubhouse earlier today, he was asked whether or not it feels any better, and he said there's a little bit of improvement, but he's still a ways away from swinging. He can't imagine swinging yet. So this certainly hasn't gotten better like they had hoped it is. It's only been a couple days since the cortisone shot, but David, you can probably speak to this. You generally know pretty fast whether or not that shot's going to work.
Well, that is true. You know, the key with the cortisone shot is getting it right in the particular spot where you feel the pain. There were a couple of times I had cortisone shots, Meredith, and I took the needle from the doctor. Let me do it. It's right over here. You know.
Now, Beltran said he would meet with the Yankees team physician again tomorrow, talk about maybe getting another cortisone shot, and General Manager Brian Cashman said that he may go get a second opinion with Dr. James Andrews at some point in time while he's on the DL, just to get that second opinion and see what he has to say about it.
And they pretty much have a hard and fast rule. You don't get more than 3 cortisone shots in a 12-month period. So if you get the second one, you better make it work.
That's definitely a new rule.
You had more than...
we didn't keep track back then.
We'll hear more from Meredith later on, so we thank her for that info. 2-2 count on Tejada. Through for base hit. First base hit, first base runner for the Mets against Whitley. Fans, you can now tweet at Yes Network your best fan photo using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during the game. Brought to you by AT&T.
Well, you mentioned it last night, Michael. I mean, Tejada does seem to be like a cat with 9 lives. I think one of the decisions the Mets had to make in the offseason, and then coming up again if they're going to be in the race, because Stephen Drew still is out there. And when you get past the June 1st date, the draft pick compensation is gone. You could say that same thing about the Yankees. I mean, Stephen Drew's name's been around just about anybody who needs middle infielders. Kind of a victim of the new rules in the draft pick compensation. Now the draft is so highly regarded. First round picks in baseball have more value than ever.
Count 0-2 on Centeno.
And I'm not sure if that's warranted or not, Michael. It's still baseball compared to the other sports, much more hard to predict. First round draft choices, well, you know, where they're going to be, how they're going to pay off. Still a lot of first rounders that never make it to the big leagues. You don't see that in basketball or football.
Ground ball to first. Teixeira to the bag. As Tejada moves to second. And that's going to bring up Jacob deGrom. Now, deGrom is a right-handed pitcher, and he's a left-handed batter. Sometimes teams don't allow you to do this because your shoulder is facing the pitcher. And they turned Dwight Gooden around to a left-handed batter.
Yeah, they did. You see,
right-handed batter.
Yeah, he did. And you see, he's got a little guard on his right elbow, a little bumper pad. I batted left-handed as a right-handed pitcher, Michael, as you know, and they never said anything to me when I first came over in a trade. But yeah, a little protection for the pitching elbow right there, just in case.
That one is laced into center field, and Ellsbury can't make the play. Tejada had a hold up, so he does not score. A single for deGrom, so both pitchers have gotten the other one and picked up their first big league hit, and that's the first hit by a Met pitcher all year. And it took a rookie.
Got him off the snide. And both of these young pitchers kind of looked like they knew what they were doing. Nice hack. legitimate knock. That line drive will get harder and harder over the years. Boy, hit that ball hard.
Eric Young is inside 2-0.
Even with the pitcher running, Teixeira holding him on. Probably the first pitch he's really overthrown so far as Chase Whitley. He's been under control very well so far. That 2-0 fastball almost back to the backstop.
There's a strike. Along with David Cohn and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening. Popped up. That will not get a run in as Gardner makes the play. 2 outs.
Well, in this case with Eric Young, a pop-up's a lot better than a ground ball because he would have been hard to double up with his speed. So just what the doctor ordered. Now you got 2 outs. Tied him up just enough. Got that ball in right about the belt.
Well, here's a tough out. Daniel Murphy.
Very unusual here with 2 outs and the pitcher on first base, Teixeira, still holding the runner on with Murphy batting, no less.
There's a strike.
Surprising because Murphy does pull a lot of balls, and Teixeira playing behind the runner would allow him to cover more ground and potentially snag one of those Murphy hard hit balls in the hole towards the hole.
And now he is going to play behind him.
Just a few steps behind him, and then Teixeira can backpedal over this way. It's a whole different defensive alignment from that point. He can definitely cut off that hole much better.
Murphy chases a pitch outside. 1-2. A little late life on that.
Got a little help from Murphy.
39 pitches, 26 strikes for Whitley. Nice block by McCann.
You know, we've talked about Brian McCann a lot in his catching ability, but that is fantastic. I mean, that was almost a 55-footer. That was nowhere even near home plate. McCann had a reputation for being an excellent blocker of balls in the dirt. And this is textbook for a young catcher. Recognizing early, deadening the ball right in front of him.
Strike 3. Murphy down looking, and Chase Whitley works out of a jam. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We play 3. 0-0 at City. 866-NY quits for free help today. The question, no Mets player has ever won the National League MVP. Now, who are the 3 runners-up in Mets franchise history? We'll find that out in the bottom of the inning. You might have noticed in these 4 games the Yankees and the Mets have played, Chase Whitley seems very relaxed right now as he got out of that jam, that on the sleeve of the Met uniform is a little microphone. And you see the Lincoln scoreboard, no score, and that's in memory of Ralph Kiner, who passed away during the offseason. He was 91 when he passed away in February, and he's been with the Mets since the very beginning of the franchise and broadcasted last year as well. And anyone you talk to that knew Ralph Kiner just has great things to say about Ralph, and you knew him, David.
Well, I did. You know, and going on Kiner's Corner, his show, was a real treat. When you were a Met, unless you got a chance to go on his show, you had not arrived. Still working, too, right up to the end.
Ellsbury tries to pull an outside pitch, a slow ground ball to Murphy, and they get the speedy Ellsbury for the first out. Here is Ralph Kiner, who worked some as a coach during spring training, working with our very own Ken Singleton. How cool is that?
Mets probably should have kept him, you know. Another one of the Mets not so good trades.
Teixeira. Fly ball. Chris Young makes a play. Now, in fairness to the Mets, they did get Rusty Staub in that deal.
They did.
Who is a Met icon in his own right.
Yes, he is. Was more of a pinch hitter deluxe towards the end of his career. Could flat out hit. Rusty Staub, one of the great hitters of all time. Can still picture him choking up on the bat. One of the last guys to really choke up on the bat.
There's Rusty, and we're kind of, you know, biased, but Ken Singleton, if you look at his numbers, he's a borderline Hall of Famer. He didn't make it, but he was a great player.
Local kid, too.
Yep. From Mount Vernon, New York. Here's Brian McCann. And there's a strike. The shift is on for McCann. He singled in the second inning. Just dunked one over the head of David Wright into left field. Lines that one to right field. Coming on is Granderson, and he makes the play. Nice play by Curtis Granderson, taking a hit from Brian McCann. 3.5 in the books. Still no score here in Queens. Quiz. Here's the question. No Mets ever won the MVP. Who are the 3 runners-up in Mets franchise history? I believe that Darryl was a runner-up.
Yes. Strawman. Tell you what, Doc Gooden should have got some votes, too. Keith Hernandez, yes.
And Seaver.
Seaver in a class by himself. The 69 Mets. Straw and Doc, back-to-back rookies of the year in 83 and 84.
David Wright takes the strike. Seaver was 25-7 in 69, 2.21 ERA. He lost to McCovey. Ryan Sandberg won in 84 when Straw put up those numbers. Or Hernandez, and Kirk Gibson won when Strawberry finished second. Gibson's numbers were not that impressive, and you're supposed to vote before the playoffs begin, which I'm sure it happened, but he eked out the award from Strawberry. The Lincoln scoreboard, nothing.
That was the year, too, when Kirk Gibson won the MVP, that Kevin McReynolds and Darryl Strawberry sort of split the vote. Both of them were in the running, could have easily been MVP, either one. And because of the split vote, Gibson snuck in and got it.
Been covering baseball for a while, David, and Darryl's one of my favorite people I've ever covered. What type of teammate?
Fantastic teammate. And Yankee fans know that, too. If you remember the Armando Benitez beating of Tino Martinez, it was Straw, the enforcer, right in the middle, trying to protect Tino.
Swing and a miss, right. Down on strikes. He struck out twice against Whitley.
We'll get a good look. Whitley with the straight change. Gets right way out in front. We've seen Whitley with good life. Michael noted, two-seamer around 91 on the top, but you can reads fastball, as you can see. Pretty much as advertised, kind of continuing what he was doing in AAA. Nothing really overpowering, but good life on the fastball, changeup, and a slider.
What's interesting is sometimes you see pitchers pitch, and especially young pitchers, the ball's going all over the place. If they get outs, that's because it's just pure stuff. But this kid's pitching right now.
He's pitching.
He has an idea.
You get a feeling that his changeup's probably his second best pitch. Especially featuring into a right-handed batter like David Wright and having the confidence to get it down. And he's just thrown 2 straight ones to Granderson, too. So we've seen a couple of sliders, but I think his fastball, then the changeup is his go-to pitch. He's got good arm action on it, too, and he's getting it down.
Popped up. Jeter, a long run. Cannot make the play. Unfamiliar with the ballpark, kind of shied away from the wall, did not make the play. Also with the shift, it's not a play he usually makes.
Yeah, he takes the quick peek there and just is not going to get there. Probably had a little more room than he thought.
Swing and a miss. Now, David, when it's a straight change, he has no problem throwing it to righties because he's not moving down and into a righty.
Right. He's got good action on it. He's missing down, as you see, kind of a little bit of side-to-side movement, but more downward tilt to that changeup. Yes, Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer, and that's the best part about a really good changeup. You can hold on to the grip, throw it like it's right down the middle, and get it to dive. So he's got good depth on it as opposed to side-to-side movement.
4 strikeouts for Whitley. Three infielders on the left side for Chris Young.
He looks very comfortable on the mound, very much under control, following Brian McCann's lead. I think we've seen it with both organizations. When you get in trouble and you have injuries to your rotation and you go down and get kind of an unknown kid, you want to know that he's going to be able to throw strikes.
Hunter Wendelstedt, a little bit of a deep there.
Little flinch on another good changeup from Whitley. I think Montero last night and then Whitney tonight and DeGrom in that category where you kind of, you trust them. You know that they're not going to blow up on you.
There's a ground ball to Jeter. And a 1-2-3 inning for Chase Whitley. We go to the 5th inning here at Citi Field. Still no score. They've kept both teams off balance respectively, and I think that Girardi and Collins have to be thrilled with Whitley and DeGrom. Now, on top of the good pitching, they also had base hits in their first major league at bat, which is kind of weird considering the Mets had not had a hit by a pitcher all year. So we checked it out. The last time two starters making their major league debuts got hits in their first at bat, you got to go back to September 25th, 1944, the Cubs against the Phillies, and I love these two names, Charlie Gassaway and Charlie Ripple. And the Cubs won that one 7-6 at Shibe Park.
Gassaway and Ripple.
Like it. Gassaway and Ripple, and now Whitley and DeGrom.
Kind of fitting. I mean, DeGrom's got a little Gassaway with his fastball, and Whitley's got a little Ripple in his changeup.
I like it. That's good stuff. Two. Now, the last game with two starters making their major league debut and both got a hit, whether it's in their second and third at bat, you have to go back to 1963, White Sox at Tigers. Fritz Ackley against Denny McClain. And McClain's hit was a home run. Tigers won that game 4-3. So a little history, all you history buffs. The 3-2, foul back. The two games at Yankee Stadium were such sloppy affairs. The pitching was not great, and the games here at Citi Field have been the complete opposite. Kind of crisply played, good pitching on both sides. Tanaka was outstanding yesterday, and Montero certainly didn't embarrass himself in his first big league start. And now tonight, 0s through 4. Strike 3. Soriano down looking, does not like the call.
See Soriano motion with his hand. He thought it was low. Kevin Long doesn't like it. Of course, you know, guys on your side are never going to like it, but it does look borderline low. Good pitch from DeGrom. It's on the plate.
From that angle, it's at the knees. I mean, when you look at it from the center field camera, it looks really low. Solarte takes a strike.
I would say that particular pitch is called a ball a lot more times than a strike.
Another strike. So Soriano has struck out twice against DeGrom.
You know, one of the popular phrases in the sabermetrics community is replacement player level, and we've got two replacement player pitchers and a little better than replacement player level in terms of production. DeGrom's a real prospect, and Whitley came onto the scene in a hurry and really has taken to the rotation. Already ready to hit again. You're right, Michael. He's a hitter.
So from 0-2, Solarte has worked the count full.
You can kind of see the future with the Mets building a pitching staff. Matt Harvey, obviously recovering from Tommy John surgery, will be ready to go next year, even though he thinks maybe this year. But DeGrom, Noah Syndergaard's in AAA.
Strike 3, Solarte down looking.
We saw Montero last night, and DeGrom has been really impressive as he gets the high strike called now and a low strike called in this inning. But when you're consistent and you're around the plate, umpires can get into a groove too. As you see, that one's pretty close to the letters, and the one on Soriano was maybe in the middle of the kneecap at best, probably a little below that. Solarte thought it was high.
Brian Roberts hits one to left field. Eric Young Jr. backs up and makes the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired the last 7 Yankees in a row. We're halfway through. 0-0. matchup. All guests in attendance are going to receive a Yankees reusable tote bag, courtesy of the MLB Network. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees have 3 hits. The Mets have 2. So 2 rookies making their major league debut on the mound, doing a good job. We're halfway through, David, so give me your impressions of Chase Whitley.
Well, Whitley's been good, and he profiles very well in terms of ground balls. Only 2 hits and 6 ground balls outs and 2 flyouts.
How about the other kid, DeGrom?
He's a power arm. I mean, he's got definitely plus fastball, above average fastball. And his secondary pitches seem to have gotten sharper as the game's gone along. DeGrom's an easy prospect to pick out. You know, Whitley, a guy who's probably more of an average fastball guy, is going to have to pitch more, and he has. And the best part about Whitley is getting the ball on the ground. As I said, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 6 ground ball outs. That's the formula for him. We've seen DeGrom just kind of throw easy gas. Several 95-mile-an-hour fastballs in good locations. Both teams have to be thrilled with 2 young starters out there under control, managing the game very well. Little late movement.
Grounded to first to Shara. Flips to Whitley, and there's 1 away.
And there's a case in point right there, Michael. You know, fastball counts to a power hitter due to Whitley able to go to sinkers and still get the ball on the ground on a ground ball out. He does have a little late action on that 2-seam fastball.
Ruben Tejada, one of the 2 hits. Tejada a single and DeGrom a single.
That's how fast it can happen in today's game. Chase Whitley, we've talked about. Just 6 starts this year. Probably thought his ticket to the big leagues was more as a closer or a setup guy. All of a sudden, you're here starting, pitching from the stretch. You keep throwing a ball like this, you ain't going anywhere. You control your own destiny as a young pitcher. That's the advice I'd give all these guys. Don't worry about the future. Worry about right now. You pitch well, you stay.
And boy, is the opportunity here. This is not like being called up to pitch the second game of a doubleheader. No matter what you do, you're going down. There's a poignant opportunity right here with the injuries on the Yankee staff. Two and 2 to Tejada.
I made this point earlier, Michael. I think it bears repeating in Chase Whitley's case. But there's only 3 major league teams that have used only 5 starters. Chase Whitley's the 8th starting pitcher the Yankees have used this year. Texas, the White Sox, Seattle, Yankees, Miami, Dodgers, D-backs, all have used 8 or more starting pitchers so far this year. Just in 40 games.
(3-2), and he walks Tejada. Here is Centeno.
Whitley's pitch count, even with that walk, still in pretty good shape. 68 pitches, 41 strikes. He will throw that changeup in any count.
Now, Whitley got a look in spring training, so if you followed the Yankees during our spring training broadcast, he pitched 4 2/3 innings and was 1 2 and allowed 7 earned runs. So didn't show much then, but since the minor leagues campaign started, he's pitched very well. There's a strike. He's 24 years old. He'll turn 25 next month. And he was a 15th round pick in the 2010 draft. Dylan Betances getting ready.
Well, if you've been out to Staten Island and seen any Staten Island Yankee games over the last few years, you would have seen Whitley pitch there. He was made the All-Star team as a closer. 2010.
Whitley was actually in town last night, but because he wasn't an activated player, he could not sit in the dugout. He stayed in the hotel and watched last night's game. His parents flew into town, so they're in the crowd right now watching their son debut in the big leagues. And a walk to Centeno. So back-to-back walks. The first walks issued by Whitley, and he has first and second, one man out, and the pitcher DeGrom coming up. Centeno wasn't sure if he walked.
Lost track of the count. We'll look around and make sure.
Now you see 73 pitches for Whitley as Larry Rothschild will come out. His high pitch count this year is 88. And he did that against Indianapolis on May 6th. 6 2/3 shutout innings. He had no walks and 11 strikeouts in that game. And that's his only time this year going past 78 pitches. So he's close to his limit right now. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
He's showing a lot of respect to Yankee pitching coach Larry Rothschild. And demonstrative shake of the head. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looked him right in the eye. Yes, sir. Yes. Stay back. Throw strikes. You got the pitcher here. Probably bunting. Be ready for this. Yes, sir.
And a bunt. So Lorde flips it to Roberts. It's successful, so you'll score that 5-4 and the runners move up.
Well, this is the National League game. Even with one out and the pitcher batting, move them up. And that's the way you do it in the National League. You do not want to bunt that ball to Teixeira because Teixeira's got the free rein to charge. You make the third baseman field it. Mission accomplished.
Well, that's going to do it for Whitley. It seems like Joe Girardi's going over a double switch with Wendelstedt because Whitley is due up first in the 6th inning. So he wants Dylan Betances to face Eric Young Jr. A nice performance, he says. Good job, and it certainly was. Runners at second, third are his responsibility. He goes 4 2/3, and right now it's scoreless. It looks like Roberts is going to come out of the game, and they will double switch him. Betances will come in and try to get out of this jam. Orioles of the game, brought to you by Pepsi. And that's Chase Whitley, who is out of the game, second and third, and 2 men out. And Joe Girardi makes a Verizon call to the bullpen. And that call to the bullpen will bring on Dellin Betances. And with the double switch, Betances is going to bat 8th in the spot vacated by Roberts, and Kelly Johnson is going to bat 9th. Johnson moves to 3rd, Solarte to 2nd. Those are the numbers on Whitley. And it'll be Betances against Eric Young Jr. Breaking ball inside.
Strikeout machine. 33 of them in 20 innings. At times, looks unhittable.
Swing and a miss. So Whitley congratulated by the Yankees. He did a nice job in his big league debut.
Beaming. Got your first big league knock. Acquitted yourself very well in your first major league start.
Grounded to 3rd. Kelly Johnson gobbles it up. And Betances does the job. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left. And Whitley has a 0 ERA after his first start. Streaming sports service is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Yankees.com for details. Brian McCann talking with Chase Whitley. Maybe he fatigued a bit in the 5th inning, walking 2 batters. He's pretty much a control guy, but Betances got out of the jam. And here's Kelly Johnson in his first at bat, and he takes a strike.
I don't know if this is the best day in Chase Whitley's life, but it's going to be pretty close. Very memorable. Soaking it up, too. Came off that mound beaming, and then getting picked up by Betances. Left a couple runners out there. They got stranded.
And Johnson goes down on strikes. 5th strikeout for Jacob deGrom. Gardner, fly ball to right and a walk.
deGrom also in very good shape pitch count wise.
Breaking ball misses outside.
Just in terms of raw stuff, you could see why he would have the prospect status that he does. Plus fastball. And a pretty good changeup to go with it. About 10 miles an hour difference. 94 to 95 with the fastball. Here comes the changeup at about 84. Looks like a fastball down the middle. See how far out in front Gardner is on that pitch. All about timing.
Well, in the Mets' perfect world, Wheeler comes and rounds into shape. Matt Harvey recovers from Tommy John surgery. And then deGrom, Montero, and Syndergaard round out the rotation. Gardner down looking. Last 5 outs, 4 of them have been strikeouts for deGrom.
And this is where he has sat all night long. Not only velocity-wise at 94 miles an hour, but on the edges, both sides.
Here's Jeter. So for Chase Whitley, a 0.00 ERA and a 1,000 batting average. Hit sharply to second. Murphy right there on one hop. He'll get Jeter. And deGrom has retired 10 Yankees in a row. We go to the bottom of the 6th.
can catch the Michael Kay Show live every weekday on Yes at 3 o'clock.
And there's my co-host right there in the blue shirt. That's Don LaGreca and my producer, Ryan Hurley. Don paid for those tickets. Those are not comps. So tune in at 3 o'clock.
Put a Yankee hat on him, and he really does kind of look like Bonesy, Steve Balboni a little bit. Bye-bye, LaGreca.
Yeah, it kind of evens things out, the Yankee announcer and the suffering Met fan. That's Don. So Daniel Murphy takes a pitch outside of the strike zone from Betances as we start the bottom of the 6th. There's 1-1. So Whitley doesn't give up a run in his Major League debut. The last Yankee starter did not allow a run in his Major League debut. You have to go back to 1992. Sam Militello, August 9th, 1992 against Boston. 7 shutout innings. He gave up just 1 hit, a second inning single to Yankee bench coach Tony Pena. And Sam Militello was supposed to be the goods. It's going to be that next wave of a great Yankee starter, and it just didn't turn out that way.
I remember watching that game. I actually was just traded from the Mets to Toronto at that point in 1992. I remember the headlines in the Post the next day. Sam I Am, one of the great ones.
And unfortunately, it turned out to be Sam he wasn't.
Yep. Sam I Am not.
Good guy, but it just he didn't project to the way he thought. When David said this earlier, draft picks in baseball, what a crapshoot. You have no idea. You're seeing guys with aluminum bats you're drafting, and you've got to project what they're going to be like when they're older. And it's hard. It's a tough sport to scout.
Just a huge difference between the top amateur level and obviously Major League Baseball, the top professional level.
Well, here's a draft pick that worked out for the Mets, David Wright. He is certainly projected. He's their captain. He's the face of their franchise. He was a 38th overall pick in the first round in 2001. 38 because there's compensatory picks at the bottom of the first round, considered a first-round pick.
You know, we talked about it. We did a hitter's scouting report on David Wright, and the last point was Cooperstown with a question mark. And, you know, maybe he just trails Straw in home runs. You know, he's got some more work to do, but he's higher up the list than you think he is, and especially if you factor in defense. He's a really good defensive third baseman. And among active third basemen, he is second only to Adrian Beltran in overall WAR ranking, which just is a way to combine defensive and offensive stats and give credit where credit is due and see where you fall into line. And Mike Schmidt, #1 all time of players that played third base at least 50% of the games that they played in.
Strike. And it's been a rough night for Wright. He strikes out 3 times.
Well, Dellin Betances can do this to you. And kind of a high breaking ball. Right buckles. You see where it crosses. Yeah, about belt high. But that's the kind of breaking ball that Betances has. Even when it's up and you think it's a hanger, it's not. It still has bite on it. It's a devastating pitch for Dellin.
Here's Curtis Granderson. 0-1. 3 infielders on the right side. Jeter essentially playing third base, even with the bag at third.
I would venture to say, Michael, that in the Yankees pitching staff, Tanaka probably has one of the most unhittable pitches as a starter. And Betances, this might be one of the most unhittable pitches in the league as a reliever. That overhand nasty curveball right on cue. We've seen batter after batter miss that pitch by a wide margin consistently, and the confidence grows the more success that Betances has.
Strike 3. He strikes out the side. Pretty impressive. The heart of the Met order. Daniel Murphy swings and misses. David Wright looks at a call. Third strike. Curtis Granderson, the same deal. The breaking ball, we go to the seventh. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. By Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. Look at the Freedom Tower in Lower Manhattan. We go to the seventh inning. And Jacoby Ellsbury will lead off against Jacob deGrom, who has not given up a hit since the third inning. Now, we just saw Betances strike out the side, and a lot of people have been asking me, a lot of people on Twitter during the week, to see the Cadillac scoreboard, no score. Why don't they stretch him out? Why don't they make him a starter, since they're short on starters right now, and that's what he came up as through the minor league system. He was one of the killer bees. And I asked Joe Girardi that, and he said, well, you never say never. He said, because he's got great stuff. He said, but the reason he's so much better now is he simplified things and got rid of 2 pitches. He said now he just has to worry about the fastball and the breaking ball. He says he doesn't have to worry about a change, a third or a fourth pitch. He said and that sometimes hindered him. He said so for now he's going to stay in the bullpen. As Ellsbury flies out. Now, David, do you think as a starter he could get by with those 2 pitches?
It's a whole different ball game as a starter, and he had plenty of opportunities in the minor leagues to start. And as Brian Cashman said, you know, a lot of relievers are failed starters, so you never say never. But why mess with a good thing? Didn't we get enough of that with the Jabba rules and Jabba Chamberlain? And this guy is tremendous. Nobody's hitting him. That spike curveball he's throwing looks unhittable. Tremendous success. I would gear him more towards the other way, the back end of the game.
You could see his stuff translating to a closer one day.
Absolutely. It's just a question of a little better command with his fastball, and he gets better and better every time out. That curveball he's throwing looks like a wiffle ball. Guys are missing it by 2 feet.
1-0 to Teixeira. He grounds one foul.
You know, and I mentioned before last inning, you know, Fangraphs.com has a sequence of stats that gives values to individual pitches. Nobody's hitting that pitch he's throwing. You know, and all he has to do is just get his fastball over enough to be able to utilize that unhittable hard curveball he throws.
The 1-1. And strangely, when he started, he didn't have great command of the fastball nor the curve. But because as a reliever you pitch more repetition made it better for him to get everything in sync. He's also a tall guy. Those are the last ones to come around as pitchers, and the perfect example they always bring up is Randy Johnson. So many moving parts that just get it in sync and have a steady delivery.
Definitely.
He's 6'8", and also from New York City, so I'm sure pitching in the Subway Series means something to him. Mark Teixeira walks.
Yeah, excuse me, Michael. There's more to it than just stuff, too, just to finish and round out that point. You know, it's emotionalism. Emotionally, Betances just seems more suited to the bullpen. He's thriving right now in that role.
Well, the walk by Teixeira breaks a string of 11 Yankees retired in a row by DeGrom. 86 pitches right now for the youngster. Here's Brian McCann. Grounded to second. There's one. And that could not be handled by Duda. I'm not sure, even if he handled it, if McCann would not have beaten it out.
Well, I agree, Michael. Is right. The third baseman making the turn. Just kind of a flip on the sidearm and couldn't quite get enough on that and the short hop. And even if he does pick it, I don't think that the play would have been any different.
And we've talked about this a lot over the last 3 days. The shift, you have a guy turning a double play who's really not used to turning a double play. Just people are out of position.
Yeah, that was a little uncomfortable looking throw from right there. Didn't get a lot on it.
So that keeps the inning alive for the Yankees. McCann leads off first with 2 outs. Here's Soriano, who has struck out twice against DeGrom. 0-1. The 0-1. Lined into left center field. That's trouble. It's going to split the outfielders and go to the wall. McCann chugging to third. They're waving him home. Here's the throw. Here's the play. Yankees lead 1-0. A triple for Soriano.
Big ballpark will allow this to happen. A catcher on scoring after Soriano gets that hanging slider and gets it in the gap. Gets all the way to the wall. And here comes McCann. The wheels on the bus go round and round, and he got there.
Now they give Soriano a double, and they say he went to third on the throw. A lot of legs there. And a lot of feet, but 2 got onto the plate, and the Yankees have a 1-0 lead. Solarte lines one right at Murphy for the final out of the 7th. 1 run on 1 hit and 1 left. Time for the 7th inning stretch. finally bends just a little bit and gives up that double that scored McCann, and the Yankees lead 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Still on the mound for the Yankees is Dellin Betances. And he has faced 4 Mets, retired them all, 1 ground ball a third, and 3 strikeouts in the 6th.
You saw that little exchange in the dugout with Dan Warthen, the pitching coach for the Mets, and DeGrom, and sort of lamenting that hanging slider, one of the few mistakes that he really left up that Soriano took advantage of. But he looks like a keeper, Michael. And the Mets have to be really pleased, as Flash and Jack Curry pointed out.
Now in the 8th inning, Betances is the second batter. Check that, he's the next batter because he's slotted into the 8th hole. Cadillac scoreboard 1-0 Yankees, so they would like to get him through this and then just use a pinch hitter. But if they lift him in this inning, then they'll double switch.
So you like the National League style, the double switches, the pitcher hitting strategy?
I like the strategy, but I don't like the automatic outs. Most of the pitchers are automatic outs. I don't know how that's entertaining. I like the strategy with the bunting and the double switching, and you know, you don't use pitchers as long in the National League either, because you got to take them out if you're losing.
Right. The fact that the pitcher hits in the 9th hole, sometimes 8th hole if you're Tony La Russa, but it really does affect two spots. It's not just the pitcher hitting; the 8th hole hitter in front of him is affected too.
What do you think? Which one do you like better?
Well, you know, when I was younger and I played for the Mets, I really liked the National League style. I enjoyed hitting, but then when I got to the Yankees, I'd like to have a Chili Davis DHing for me as opposed to me making outs all the time.
And also, I think pitchers get to pick up more victories in the American League, because I'm sure that if DeGrom's spot comes up here in the 7th inning, they're going to pinch hit for him because it's 1-0. In the American League, you keep pitching until you hit 100 or 110 pitches, so you might be able to pick up a win. In the National League, you might not be able to get that win.
It's an interesting debate. I've kind of sensed that the debate shifted a little bit. All the talk was always centered around losing the DH.
Boy, Betances is flaunted it right now. 4 straight strikeouts. We go back to the studio, and Ryan Ruocco. Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. 1 out here in the 7th inning. That's going to bring up Lucas Duda. Pitch is low, 1-0. Nothing Yankees, bottom of the 7th. Mets with just 2 hits against Whitley, and Betances nothing against him in 5 batters. There's that breaking ball that David likes, 1-1. I think everybody likes, unless you're facing him.
Well, that's the thing, you know, the quality of the break on that pitch, how late it is, how the hitter reacts. Even when it's up and in the strike zone, he still gets swings and misses. You know you got a good one when you're buckling guys and it's right down the middle. A lot of guys have really good sliders down in the dirt. But that ball is middle in and just locked up Duda.
And another strikeout. 5 in a row. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet that's powerful. Edinson Volquez will go for the Pirates as they come in for a weekend series. David Phelps will start for the Yankees. Our coverage will begin at 6 p.m. on Yes with the BP show. 6:30 is the pregame, and usually at Yankee Stadium, first pitch right around 7:07, 7:08.
Well, why not just keep throwing it? And he does. And you see that's up a little bit. Duda reads it up, but just gave up on it. And it's still got quick break even though it's up. So he doesn't really throw the prototypical hanger. It still has good bite on it, even when it's up.
Tejada fouls it away. Let's take a look at this replay, brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here.
Spiked curveball. where you get your index finger up off the ball and kind of drive the tip of your pointer finger down into the ball and use your middle finger to snap it off.
Isn't that the pitch that Massini used to call a knuckle curve?
Yes.
The 0-1. And then the 97-mile-an-hour fastball for, you know, some giggles.
Yes, just for show. 97 for show. It's not like Girardi is grooming him to be a one-inning guy. He can get multiple innings out of Betances in this role.
That was 98 miles an hour. Betances could be to this 2014 Yankee team what Mariano Rivera was to the 1996 Yankee team. Give you multiple innings before you get to the closer.
Yes, so valuable.
Mo used to set up for Wetland, and you saw it firsthand, David.
Absolutely, Michael. And the confidence just seems to grow with each outing for Betances.
The 1-2. Strike three. He strikes out the side again. 6 straight strikeouts for Dellin Betances. Chris Young goes down swinging. Duda looks at a called third strike. And then it's Ruben Tejada's turn to take a seat. We go to the 8th. Show is Brian Rucco, Jack Curry, and John Flaherty are back in the studio to break down all the action and recap this series finale. Plus, get the team's reaction from the clubhouse. It's all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame only on Yes. And we should send out congratulations to Bob Lorenz. His son Tyler is graduating college, and he is out on the West Coast at Arizona State. So congratulations to Bob and his wife Donna and Tyler as well. Well, that's going to do it for DeGrom. What a performance by that young man. He gave up 1 run, really made that one mistake to Soriano, and now they turn it over to the lefty, Scott Rice.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him get another start, Michael. I mean, DeGrom was that impressive. And he should be able to control his own destiny. Even when Dylan G comes back off the DL, his job is to just stay. Make them make another decision. He pitched like he intends to stay.
Well, the Yankees are going to send up Zoilo Almonte to pinch hit for Betances. With all the injuries, Zoilo was called up yesterday. You see what he did at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. He's been up in the big leagues before. Hyundai scoreboard 1-0 Yankees. And there's a strike. Adam Warren will pitch the bottom of the 8th. 0-2.
We just can't say enough about Dellin Betances and that performance we just witnessed. Got a ground ball to get out of a jam, relieving Whitley. And they just proceeded to strike the world out. 6 straight.
Joe Girardi has to be pleased with his pitching the last 2 nights. Nothing that you could be critical of with Tanaka last night. Tonight, not too bad. Swing and a miss. Almonte down on strikes as a pinch hitter.
Tanaka, there are 2 American League starting pitchers that have run the table on the quality start stat, 8 for 8. Tanaka has not had a bad start. He's 8 for 8. Sonny Gray out in Oakland's 8 for 8. The only 2 in the American League to do that.
And a quality start, of course, 6 innings and 3 or fewer runs. And that does tell you how the game has changed. The quality start. If you get all quality starts and pitch 6 innings, give up 3 runs the entire season, you have a 4.50 ERA.
That's right. Tanaka also leading the American League in innings pitched per start. 7.3 innings pitched per start.
Kelly Johnson takes a strike. It's 1-1.
And the average so far this year, Michael, 5.8. The average starter is averaging 5.8 innings per start. Tanaka doing 2 jobs. You don't even need a setup guy when he pitches. Tanaka, John Lester, and David Price are the only 3 American League starters that are averaging at least 7 innings per start. So the workload has changed. The value of middle relief has increased.
And for the Yankees, what a security blanket. Once every 5 days, you kind of just write into the book that your bullpen's going to get a little bit of a rest.
So important. Got a big boost last night with a 9-inning shutout.
The 2-2 to Johnson. Bounced up there.
A lot of people used to make fun of the quality start stat. You know, like you said, Michael, it equates to a 4.50 ERA. Not so much anymore. That really surprised me today. There's only 2 American League starters that have gone 8 for 8 of 6 innings or 3 earned runs or less. Just 2. Sonny Gray's something special out in Oakland.
And Sonny Gray looks like he's about 12 years old. Very, very young. And the A's keep producing some pitchers, but they've been hit by the Tommy John surgery curse as well. The 3-2. And Kelly Johnson works a walk. Well, as promised earlier, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to @YesNetwork using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. And Sterling Sally sends us this photo of 3 happy Yankee fans. So with a runner on first base and 1 out, Brett Gardner is going to come up against Scott Rice. Rice was a workhorse last year for the Mets and started off slowly this season. He's picking it up, though. And Terry Collins felt that the slow start could be attributed to pitching as much as he did last year. He said sometimes that manifests itself early in the season, and you hope that he pitches through that. It looks like he's pitching better than he did at the start.
It's always the command issues. First thing to go is a little location. A lot of times when I started to diminish or lose a little bit of stuff, Michael, as you see, boy, that ball runs in. Gardner all tied up. That's a phone booth swing right there. It's the location first, Michael, before the velocity. And then the dip in velocity.
Why is that?
It just seems that the manifestation of a problem in a pitcher's arm, whether you're fatigued or whether you're susceptible to injury, is you can't quite hold on to the ball and pinpoint. In order to throw the ball where you're trying to and have good control, you really have to hold on to it and get the fingertip pressure and the release right out in front. You could still have velocity without control, but sometimes the first thing to go is the control, and then the velocity starts to go down.
And that's from arm speed, right? Loss of arm speed?
Loss of arm speed, possible inflammation in either your elbow or your shoulder, lack of range of motion. You lose a little bit of flexibility.
Count full. Now, if he loses Gardner, would Collins keep Rice in to pitch the Jeter, hoping that he could get Jeter and then have the lefty against Ellsbury? And Jeter a much better hitter against lefties than he is righties, so you could get the damage done right there. So you've got Jeurys Familia and Josh Edgin up in the bullpen. So with Edgin up, that tells you that he would bring in Familia just to get Jeter and then follow it with Edgin for Ellsbury. The 3-2. He walked him. 2 straight walks issued by Scott Rice. And Terry Collins, who knows his team doesn't score many runs in this ballpark, wants to stop it right here. He will signal for Familia. Familia against Jeter coming up. On 4 hits, the Mets just 2 hits, no runs. Whitley, in his major league debut, 4 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, no runs. DeGrom was outstanding for the Mets, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. That came in the 7th inning, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. And the run came on Soriano's RBI double, scoring Brian McCann from first base. The double went into left center field. McCann chugged around the bases and made it home ahead of the throw. Third pitcher for the Mets, it's Juris Familia. "17 games, walks too many, 15 strikeouts in 18 1/3, and he's going to face Jeter."
Definitely a power arm with sink on it. Mid to upper 90s at times.
This could possibly be Derek's last career at bat in Queens. First and second, 2 walks have put them there. 1 out in the 8th. Yankees lead 1-0. We're going to give the bullpen a little breathing room. They're missing an E. Way inside, all the way to the backstop. And Karam's past Centeno as the runners move up.
Setting up down and away. Almost gets Jeter in the belt buckle going by.
That's a big wild pitch because now the Mets have to bring the infield in. That's what they do. The 1-0. 96-mile-an-hour strike, and Jeter thought it was too high. But in his defense, Wendell says been calling that all day. For both sides.
Yeah, he has been a strike caller. Down and up at times. Right around the belt.
So a quick conference. Derek Jeter could break a tie with his former teammate Paul O'Neill on the all-time RBI list. They're tied for 110th now with 1269. 97 right by him, 1 and 2. Next up on the list is Derek's good friend Constantino Martinez, 2 away. And Paul will be back in the booth for the weekend series against the Pirates. Hands of both right there. The 1-2. Just got a piece.
The Mets see in Familia a potential closer in the future as well. The stuff is there. Dominating at times.
One, 2. Still 1 and 2.
A little surprising. 2 straight sliders in the mid-80s to Derek Jeter with the infield in. And if you've got a 97-mile-an-hour sinker in your hip pocket, you might want to break it out and use it in this situation.
1-2. Chopped to short. Coming home is Johnson. The throw. Got him. Contact play, and Johnson was coming home no matter what. And Tejada with a good throw to Centeno. Moving to third is Gardner, and Jeter reaches on the fielder's choice.
Well, he does go to the sinker and gets it on the ground, and this is the right play. I mean, no harm, no foul as far as sending the runner. Make him make the play. You've still got Gardner at third after this out at home plate. And here comes Terry Collins.
And here comes Joe Girardi. Maybe Girardi thinking that Centeno did not tag him. And that's why Johnson reached back and touched the plate. Or maybe he's arguing that the plate was blocked, David.
Good question. I mean, this home plate call, as you see, he's straddling the line.
And he straddled it without the ball. And that's probably what Girardi's talking about. Anyway, Terry Collins does come out. He did tag him, so it was about blocking the plate for sure. Familia's out. Coming in is Josh Edgin. It'll be Edgin against Ellsbury with runners on first and third, 2 outs. Spotlight as the Yankees kick off a weekend series with Andrew McCutchen and the Pittsburgh Pirates. All 3 games will be shown on Yes, and tomorrow's coverage starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today and a Tri-State Ford pregame. Ellsbury swings at the first pitch from Edgin and lofts it to shallow left. Coming on is Young. He makes the play. 1 pitch, and Edgin gets out of trouble. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees up 1-0. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Branch out. And by your local Acura dealer. Just showing David and Meredith a picture on my smartphone of Ebbets Field, and that almost exactly looks like Ebbets Field. We are here at Citi Field, and Adam Warren will be the third Yankee pitcher. Whitley, 4 2/3. Dellin Betances, a perfect 2 2/3. Check that, Whitley, 2 1/3. And of the 7 batters he faced, he struck out 6 of them, so a hard thing for Adam Warren to follow, but he's pitched very well in the 8th inning. And with Sean Kelly on the DL, this is where he'll be for a while. And the pitch to Centeno is up and away. Hyundai scoreboard, 1-0 Yankees. There's a strike from Warren. One and two.
To me, Michael, we were asked the question, you asked the question, and people on Twitter, should Betances, with all that success, maybe we, stretch it back out, get him in the rotation. Really, Adam Warren is more the guy that conversation should be centered around. Even though he's been so successful here in the 8th inning and almost become indispensable. He was a good starter in the minor leagues. He's not a failed starter at this point. And Brian Cashman has been on the record as saying, if anything, this guy might get another chance at some point. Now, the fact that Sean Kelly's on the DL hurts that. But the emergence of Betances more into the late innings, and if the Yankees really do need another quality starter, at some point, Adam Warren's not out of the question.
So Centeno strikes out looking. 7 straight Mets have gone down on strikeouts.
But he has thrived in this role, and that has picked up some miles per hour. As that one was 95 miles an hour on the black at the knees.
And one thing he hasn't done in moving to bullpen, he has not winnowed down his pitches. He still throws 4 pitches coming out of the bullpen. So it's not like he shortened his repertoire. Bobby Abreu is going to pinch hit for Josh Edgin. Abreu got a pinch hit single yesterday off Tanaka in the 9th. The 1-0.
Bobby Abreu, of all the guys that I've faced in my career, had the best eyeballs of just about any of them. He could eyeball some pitches. Really a good reputation. Another guy, former teammate, former Yankee and Red Sox, Wade Boggs, maybe one of the best in history, but Bobby Abreu right up there in that kind of Wade Boggs category, and it holds weight with umpires too. They know, and if he looks at a pitch just off the plate and takes it, sometimes he gets the benefit of the doubt because of his reputation.
So 3-1 on Abreu. And on deck is Eric Young Jr. And he walked him. So a pinch hit walk to Abreu. And quickly a pinch runner comes out. Juan Lagares will pinch run for Abreu. So far tonight, Eric Young Jr. is 0 for 3. Grounded out to first in the first. Fly ball to left in the third. Grounded to third in the fifth. Now Lagares obviously is a threat to go.
Best thing Adam Warren can do here is just variate his style out there. Hold the ball a little bit, change his patterns. Try to give Brian McCann every chance you can. We've said it time and time again, Michael. I know you're aware of it, but the signs come from the bench. Tony Pena is running the running game, so to speak, and he gives the signs to McCann on when to throw over, when to pitch out. But it's up to Warren to variate his style.
1-1.
Lagares, not that big of a lead.
Tries a drag bunt and misses 1 and 2.
Good job. You see Robbie's getting ready. We've seen Young burn the Yankees on fastballs, and even in this situation, as Michael said, with Lagares potentially stealing, nothing but off-speed pitches to him so far to get ahead 2 strikes. Good slider there, threw a changeup previously and held the ball before he delivered. And we get another off-speed pitch here.
Strike 3. Young down looking. Last 8 Met outs have all been strikeouts.
Yes, he was not going to get another fastball. This is a backdoor slider. Young does not like it. Borderline, maybe breaking around the plate. Close, though. Really good pitch. Really good frame. Presentation from McCann.
Eric Young Jr. not happy. Now here's Daniel Murphy against Warren. Keeping Lagares close.
It's been both ways. Both sides have had hitters rung up on borderline pitches. He's been consistent, though.
Pitch outside.
And Warren really is unique in this role in the 8th inning because he does have a starter's repertoire. For Daniel Murphy here, you got to guard, and he could easily throw a changeup.
Grounded inside third and down the left field line. Lagares is going to go to third. Daniel Murphy will stop at first as the throw comes into second, and the Mets are 90 feet away from tying this game.
Well, it's a slider, and you see it ties up Murphy just a little bit. It's not exactly the way Murphy was looking to hit the ball, but he'll take it. Thank you very much. You see he's jammed down towards the trademark of the bat. but gets it down the line.
Well, Joe Girardi looks like he's going to bring in David Robertson for a 4-out save. He's talking with the home plate umpire Wendelstedt because he's going to make a double switch. And Mark Teixeira is jogging off the field. I can't believe they pull him on a double switch since he's leading off the bottom of the ninth. He might just be answering nature's call. So Girardi is going to call on Robertson to get out of this jam. First and third, 2 outs on the bottom of the 8th. Yankees up by 1. Yes. A double switch for the Yankees. Derek Jeter is out. He'll watch this game from the bench. Brendan Ryan comes in the shortstop, and this is how Joe tells him. He takes the ball from Warren and then tells Derek, listen, I'm going to double switch. So Robertson now in Derek's number 2 hole in the lineup, and Ryan goes into the pitcher slot, which is the 8th hole after another double switch. Robertson has not pitched since May 9th in Milwaukee, so he is very well rested. And that's his only game pitched in the last 8 days. Now he's going to face David Wright, the number 3 hitter in the Met order. David has struck out 3 times tonight. Lagares is on third. Daniel Murphy's on first. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Yankees lead 1-0. The Mets with 3 hits tonight. The Yankees with 4. It's been about the pitching all night. Ground ball to Ryan. Across the diamond, and he gets right. And Robertson does the job. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 9th. It's a 1-0 game. changer, David?
Well, this guy was definitely a game changer because he came in and nobody could touch him. After getting a ground ball in relief of Chase Whitley, 6 straight strikeouts, buckling knees.
Well, the new pitcher for the Mets is Henry Mejia. And with the release of Kyle Farnsworth, and Kyle did not like getting released, Henry Mejia, at least today, Terry Collins said, is the closer. He said it's going to be closer game to game. He's going to pick matchups, but Mejia is the closer in this game. This is obviously not a closing situation as the Mets are trailing, but he is going to pitch tonight. Chris Young will move to left. And Lagares, one of the better center fielders in the game, will take over in center.
You almost get the sense that not only is Terry Collins relieved to get Mejia out of the rotation and into the pen, that Mejia is as well. All the antics, the histrionics, he seems to really enjoy this role.
Count 1-1. David, it's so strange how baseball is sometimes. The Mets go into Yankee Stadium and over 2 games just bludgeon Yankee pitching, totally against what they are offensively as a club, and now they have not been able to score a run in 17 innings against the Yankees.
The ballpark batters.
And also, to be honest, the Yankee pitching wasn't too good at Yankee Stadium. It's been very good here at Citi Field. And when you see the pitching matchup today, 2 kids making their major league debut, did you think you were going to have a pitcher's duel? But that's exactly what it turned out to be.
Yeah, no way you could have anticipated that.
Three infielders on the right side for Teixeira. Just stayed alive. The 2-2. Vic Kelleher's made 2 nice plays. Into the seats, foul.
Just another deep count at bat for Mark Teixeira. Pretty commonplace. Seems to always be 2-2, 3-2, 3-1. It's no coincidence that his recent hot streak coincides with his ability to work the count.
Fastball is high and the count full. Lined in the right center field, it's a base hit for Teixeira. Lagares cuts it off, and a leadoff single for the Yankees in the ninth.
Go ahead and swing it. Don't worry about the shift. Talk about hit them where they ain't. There's a lot of guys around there, just in the right spot.
Here's Brian McCann. Shift is on for McCann as well. And he's bunting and tried to push it down the third baseline, but foul. Good idea, bad execution.
Absolutely. 1-0 game late. If there ever was a time, it's now. And just got a little froggy with it. He wanted it too, Girardi did. Yeah, it looked like McCann tried to be a little too fine. All you had to do was just get it that way.
He was showing bunt again.
You see David Wright is looking into the bench, and Terry Collins says no. Stay right there. Creeping a couple of steps, but no real adjustment. Still leaving it open.
Collins probably thinking, I've got Chris Young playing shallow. I've got a guy at first whose legs are bothering him. The most it's going to be is a single, and I keep him in the ballpark. So that's why he didn't have David Wright move over. McCann has scored the only run in this game, scoring from first on Soriano's double to left center in the 7th inning. 1-0 Yanks. Swing and a miss. McCann strikes out.
Other part of the shift, Michael, the psychological part. Do I bunt? Do I not? When to take advantage? I like the idea by McCann right there, especially late in the game and nobody out.
Now there looks to be some piece of paper out in short center field where Soriano is asking him to pick that up. It's in his line of vision, and that's what they're going to do.
That is something I mentioned to you before. You could never get Wade Boggs to do that. He would not do that. He thought it was bad luck. Superstitious. Don't pick it up. Don't put it in your pocket. He would have made the ball boy go out and do it.
0-1. Soriano struck out twice and then doubled in McCann on one of the few bad pitches by DeGrom. Hanging breaking ball upstairs, and he drilled it into left center. Good fastball for a strike. 0-2.
There are certain styles that just are more conducive to relieving, as you see the mechanics even of Mejia. A little bit all over the map, really gets a lot into it. It'd be hard to sustain over the long haul as a starter.
Grounded sharply and knocked down by Wright. So a base hit for Soriano. He hit that ball hard, and Teixeira advances to second. Well, David, you called it earlier. You said that Girardi likes what he sees in batting practice from Soriano. He hit this hot shot that Wright couldn't handle. And there it is on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
Yeah, that ball was smoked. Looked like Wright might have got a little bare hand on that too.
Grounded left side. Tejada to second one. On to first. Double play. A 6-4-3 double play, and Mejia gets out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th as David Robertson will try to close it out. Is back on the season premiere episode. Get the inside story of David Wells' improbable 1998 perfect game with all new interviews and eyewitness accounts. It's Chevy presents Yankeeography Moments of Glory, Saturday at 8, only on Yes. Well, David Cohn was there for that one, and he's here for this one. It's been really great pitching on both sides, and now David Robertson will try to get the final 3 outs.
He will, and obviously it'll be more than a 1-inning save here. Not exactly Goose Gossage light back in the day, but Girardi got him in the last inning. He got David Wright out in a big spot, and now going to come back out and try to close it out.
Now, Girardi did come out and talk to the first base umpire, Mike Estabrook, as the Yankees looked at the replay, and it was so close. But you'd have to say that he was probably out by the length of an eyelash.
It was really that close. Ball hits the glove and the foot. Man, that's just inches away.
It's almost like his heel came down. If it was his toe, he would have been safe. So Girardi decided not to challenge. And here is Curtis Granderson. One 1-0. Granderson, Young, and Duda 4, 5, and 6 in the Met order. Yankees lead 1-0. There's a strike. Robertson has pitched once in 8 days. Two and one. Grounded to Brendan Ryan. 1 out. Here's Chris Young. The Yankees have 3 infielders on the left side for Young, and he takes a strike.
Robertson doesn't look rusty at all. Stuff very sharp tonight. Last inning got David Wright with a couple of really good curveballs and excellent life on that cut fastball tonight.
Pumps the fastball low, 1-1. And the pitch by Robertson. 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch. Just a bit low. 2-2.
Nothing but fastball so far. Kind of kept that spike curveball in his hip pocket. See if he breaks it out right here. Trying to finish off Young.
The 2-2. Foul back here. Chase Whitley, who started the game for the Yankees from Alabama. David Robertson trying to close, went to Alabama and is from Alabama.
Staying with the heater.
2-2. Up and in. And here's the payoff. He struck him out. High heat.
It was, and it's probably ball 4. As that's above the strike zone. Young can't hold up.
And that's going to bring up Lucas Duda. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Yankees lead 1-0. Breaking ball is low, 1-0. Yankees have the shift on for Duda. 3 infielders on the right side. And unless they meet in the World Series, this is it for Derek Jeter. Yankees and Nets. The 1-0. 2-0. The 2-0. Fouled off a breaking ball, 2-1.
A lot of respect for Lucas Duda here in a 1-run ball game.
3 straight curves, right?
3 straight curveballs, a 2-0 curve. Just did not want to give in. Brian McCann leading the way. Robertson just following the lead.
Another curve. Missed inside, 3-1. He's very careful with Duda, and he has a light hitting Tejada on deck. Duda can hit the ball out. He has 4 home runs. This time it looks like a fastball. And the count is full. Crowd of 40,133 here at Citi Field. Here's the payoff. He struck him out, and the Yankees win 1-0. The Mets don't score a run off the Yankees in 2 straight games at Citi Field. The Subway Series is split, and the New York Yankees win this one 1-0. The last time the Yankees had back-to-back shutouts, you don't have to go back that far. They did it to the Cubs earlier this year in the doubleheader, and the last time the Yankees, or should I say 2 New York teams playing each other, had back-to-back shutouts, July 1st and 2nd, 1957 at the Polo Grounds. The Dodgers shut out the Giants 3-0, then 6-0 behind Don Drysdale and Sal Magley.
Definitely not giving in. McCann going back to the curveball on the 3-2 pitch. You see the spiked index finger. Duda cannot hold up.
Good stuff by the Yankees. Yesterday, Tanaka was outstanding. And today, well, obviously, it's Whitley, Betances, Warren, and Robertson. Now we go back to the studio, and Ryan Ruocco and the guys will set the table for the rest of the night. Guys?